If I lied, I was gonna stick with that lie. I don't care how much they beat me. I was never gonna admit that I lied. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Danielle and this is a Lifestyle with Danielle. Today I am going to do a Q&A video, which was something a couple people requested a while ago, and I'm just getting around to it. Never really thought people were too interested and really asking me too many questions. That's why I was kind of hesitant on doing it, but I did make a post for anyone who has any questions to go ahead and ask them so I can answer them. So I only have a few, so this video shouldn't be too long, but some of them are really good. So let's jump right into the first question. Let's see, I had to get my phone so that I don't miss anything. The first question is, what is your main source of motivation? I would say my main motivation is something that I feel like a lot of us struggle with, myself included. So I think my main source of motivation, especially here lately, is like the last year or two, is probably me figuring out exactly how I wanted my life to look, what I wanted out of my life. And so from there, it's a lot easier to say no to things that I don't want, or things that's not going to be beneficial to me, and say yes to things that will potentially be beneficial to me, or that I know will be beneficial to me. So really figuring out what I want my life to look like in the future is what really motivates me to continue to work. Now, sometimes I do struggle with keeping motivated and keeping consistency, especially when it comes to things like quitting my 9-to-5 or creating different kind of like content and like my own entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Sometimes it gets difficult to stay motivated when the payoff isn't there, but I know that persistent hard work and a good plan will lead to great results. So I really try to keep that in my forward mind and keep what I want my life to look like, the things that I desire, the successes that I desire, all the things that will make me happy. I try to keep that at my forefront, because one thing I do try to remind myself is, if I don't keep doing it, if I don't stay consistent, even if I'm not the most motivated, then that's a surefire way for me not to get the type of life that I want, and not to get the type of success I want, or start the business that I want, any and everything. What else am I gonna do? Like, if you don't work, we're in this life, if I don't work towards getting everything I want out of this life that is so short, then what's even the purpose? So I kind of have that at the forefront of my mind. And also, not to be dark or anything, but you know, we could go at any second. And so why not just live the most? Why not do the thing that you want to do? Why not be, vigilant in creating the kind of life that you want? And so I try to use that to keep me motivated. What were you like as a child? I'm trying to think of what like my parents would say, or what like my relatives would say. My parents will always say I came out with the personality that I have. I am who I am. I was stubborn. I don't know, like, what do you say? I don't really like talking about myself all that much. Personally, it's embarrassing. I was always like a stubborn, like opinionated, but kind child. I was always like really self-aware as a kid. Like, I was always really aware of my surroundings, and like kind of aware of the people around me, and really concerned with how people felt. Like, if I felt someone was having a hard time or something like that, I, for whatever reason, took it upon myself to try to make them feel better. Or in any case, I would write my parents like letters and stuff. Sometimes it didn't come across well, but I was always like trying to think ahead or trying to just create some kind of peace or create, like, I don't know, just kind of like maybe it was that Virgo energy as a kid, but just trying to make sure everything was copacetic and like that everybody was good kind of thing. And but my parents would probably say I was very stubborn, like I didn't take much crap, you know, like if I had an attitude, if somebody made me upset, you knew about it. But I was also kind of quiet and reserved. I never really liked attention. I still don't. But as a kid, I never really liked attention. I never really liked being the loud one, and you know, in class or in anywhere. I just kind of want to blend to the back, even though people made that very, for some reason, the people who do find me very interesting, and I don't know why, but like I've always wanted to kind of like just be chill. My parents always tell people these embarrassing stories, but like when I was a kid, like if I lied, I was gonna stick with that lie. I don't care how much they beat me. I was never gonna admit that I lied. I was never gonna admit that I like did something like a vault, honey. Fort Knox I am, okay? I can keep a secret. Like I'm not gonna, like I was just a stubborn child. But I never got in trouble like that. I never got in trouble. I was inquisitive when it came to meeting new people and meeting people different from me. And I remember, it's funny now, but my mom used to always say that she think I would marry like a white dude or something or whatever. I don't know, she still say that now, and like she wouldn't be surprised. Not that I'm even, unbeknownst to her, like I've dated white guys, but I've never been in like a serious relationship with a white guy, with other race men, but not particularly white. But I think she said that because I like my white teachers better always, but that's just because they were nicer. The black teachers were, you know, back then it was all women teachers. The black teachers they seemed grumpier. They was a little bit meaner. They had a little less patience. All the white ladies were nicer. A lot of them were younger, so they were like, I was a crybaby too as a kid. Like I'm still a crybaby. I only cry in front of certain people. I do not like to cry in front of people, but I was definitely a crybaby as a kid. Like, but I think it was just, I just didn't know how to express myself, or just didn't want to express myself. At what age and stage in life did you truly feel you're grown up? Honestly, sometimes I still don't really feel that grown. I'm trying to get into a place now where I'm really coming into my womanhood. I think a lot of it has to do with me not having children. So is this kind of like gap between, because sometimes it get trippy when I see other people's kids, when I see my friends' kids, my nephews and stuff like that, and how older they're getting. They're teenagers. Some of them are about to graduate from high school in a couple years. So it's like, that's when I really feel grown. But sometimes on my own, I mean, I know that I'm grown. I pay my own bills. I live by myself. Like I know that I'm grown, but it's like, I don't always feel as old, especially in my mind, as old as I am. So sometimes I do like, and I do have the ability to like kind of retreat to my parents' house and stuff and eat their food and don't like go grocery shopping at their house. And like, so sometimes I don't always feel full grown. And I think that I was one of those people who, like, even as a kid, like I always cherished my childhood. Like I like being grown, don't get me wrong, especially when you grew up with strict parents and you couldn't do a whole lot of stuff. But at the same time, like I enjoy being able to move about as I please and do whatever I want, hop up and travel and don't have to ask permission. But as a kid, I remember telling my parents when I was really young, I was like, I'm gonna stay as young as I can, as long as I can. And I really enjoyed my childhood. I really stayed young and innocent. It was an active choice even as a kid. I stayed young and innocent for as long as I could until I was done with it. Like, I lie to you not, like I was so obsessed with Barbie, and which I actually have a video coming up about that, but I was so obsessed with Barbies and playing with my Barbies and stuff like that. Like, I literally played with my Barbies until I was like almost in high school. Like, I don't think I was in middle school when I was like, okay, I'm done now. I'm done. I was definitely still maybe 13 or something like that. But I was definitely in middle school when I was still playing with Barbies, and the other girls weren't. It was very clear, like my cousins and stuff that I used to play with a lot, they didn't want to, but it was fine with me. I was quiet. I knew that I was aware that I was at that stage when the typical girl starts to about, you know, 11, 12, when they sometimes younger, 10, 11, 12, where you don't want to, I know the girls around me didn't really want to play with dolls and things, with Barbies and things anymore. And I was like, okay, my thing was, I've always, since a kid, I was always been the type of person to do what I want, even if it wasn't socially acceptable. I've never succumbed or even thought to succumb to peer pressure. And sometimes I would get teased for, like, because it took me a long time to get boobs, and that really didn't, I had a big butt though. But sometimes I would get teased for not doing, it wasn't bullying by any stretch, because I was talking junk back, trust me. But I would get teased for not being as advanced as the other girls. And I'm like, I'm actively choosing not to be advanced. I was probably 12. Because I definitely wasn't in the 8th grade, but I was in middle school, probably 6th or 7th grade. And I do the same thing now with more adult things. But at the same time, I think that because I didn't have kids, jumping back to the question, sometimes I do kind of forget how old I am. Even though I made a joke like during the pandemic, and I was like, oh, like, thank God I don't, if it got like really crazy, like on the like apocalyptic movies, and I'm like, well, I can retreat to my parents' house. I'm the kid. Like, everybody else got to take care of their kids and figure out how to feed their kids. I'm the kid. I can go back to my parents' house and be a kid. Like, so sometimes I do have those little girl moments, but at the same time, okay, I'm a grown woman. I can do whatever I want. And I like that. And I do embrace my womanhood. I do embrace everything about a woman, even the things that's uncomfortable, like period cramps and stuff like that. Like, I try to embrace to the best of my ability the aspects of womanhood, because womanhood is power. Like, women run everything if they really understood. So I embrace that, and I'm definitely working on moving out of the, like, I definitely don't think I'm in any sort of princess phase or anything like that. I think that was gone a long time ago. But I am embracing more of my queendom, like building my own, like taking care of myself, like being sovereign, and just like being aggressive with the power and honing the power, and like just pouring into the power of my womanhood and the things that make me me. And I think that probably, to give a number, I would say honestly probably when I turned 30 was when I started to really feel grown up and like more sovereign, more powerful, and more like, listen, I'm a grown woman, honey. Like knowing how to use my womanhood for my benefit, or in various scenarios. So I would say around 30 was when I really was like, I'm grown, like I'm a full grown woman. Okay, what made you decide to create content and podcasts? I decided to create, I planned to do YouTube for a long time, but I was putting it off. It is a lot of work with no payoff really until it pays off. So for years, but it just started at the end of 2019. I started, and then got a little bit more subscribers and stuff in 2020. But I really started to kind of give sort of like advice videos to kind of create some sort of community on how we as Black women and women can improve on our lives and how we can level up our lives in every way, how we can be selfish. Like, I think if I could narrow down my hopes for creating content is to give women permission to be selfish. That's like one of the first videos I talked about when I joined. You know, it wasn't, my intention was never to really talk about, it was really to talk to women of all races, honestly, but especially Black women, because we have a unique set of circumstances. And so I really want women to get to the place, and especially young women and teenage girls, to get to the place to where they know that it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to make decisions that's going to benefit you, and to not let anyone make you feel guilty about it, and to just be really stingy with your energy and be really protective of yourself, and also how to learn from other people's mistakes. And I really wanted to, because I did manage my life in such a way where I avoided a lot of mistakes. I taught myself early, or I didn't even really teach myself, I just am who I am, but to pay attention to red flags and make like meticulous choices and make methodical choices on what I do. So it creates a level of responsibility that a lot of us don't want, because then we can't blame anyone else but ourselves. But my goal is to I really started to try to get Black women and other women to be selfish and to be relentless and creating the life that they want, and to not make mistakes. You don't have to make your own mistakes in every scenario. If you choose to do something that may be a mistake, then make it a choice that you made intentionally after calculating the risks. And then if you can do that, you can take responsibility for the mistake and you cannot do it again. And for women to just be smarter, and not necessarily a book smart way, but just smart with navigating through life. And I think so many of us are lacking that, and it's really disturbing, especially when we're raising little Black girls behind us without a good example. Because what we teach, especially in the Black community, is that it's okay to make a bunch of mistakes. It's okay to have a bunch of kids and then later figure out that you shouldn't. But your kids do what you do. They don't do what you say. So I think it's very important for us to, and I'm going to have another video out that another girl wrote me a message for young, she's like about to go to college, graduate. And so so we can move smart and more. If you made the mistake, that's fine, but teach your daughter and live a life so little Black girls, your daughters behind you, your nieces, whoever, your friends, kids, so they can see the example and they can make better decisions than some of us did. So that's really the gist of why I started creating content. Are you nervous about leaving the full-time job market? Yes. Sometimes it's a mix of nervous and excitement. You know, it's always back and forth with me, because originally my deadline was going to be June, but that was before the pandemic. Then it was going to be before my birthday in September. And now I'm saying, for tax purposes and tax brackets and stuff like that, I am trying to play it smart, but I am gonna wait till the first of the year. Like, I probably won't come back after the new year. I really don't know. I might decide, I don't know what I'm gonna decide to do, but I am very nervous, because even as a Virgo, outside of the society that we're conditioned to, and like, I value security. And so it's very difficult. And like most people, I'm a confident person, but I still have a lot of insecurities, and I still get paralyzed at the thought of having to lean on people, or not being able to take care of myself. I take a lot of pride, and I'm independent. I don't need no man kind of way, but I take a lot of pride in my ability as a woman to move and shake in this life and move and shake in this world with intention and command respect. And I take a lot of pride in my ability to take care of myself and provide myself with a lifestyle that I'm happy with. And so at this point in time, I know that my 9-to-5 isn't going to suffice. I know that I want more than my 9-to-5 can provide, but I am proud having gotten to the place that I've gotten in my 9-to-5, and I'm very appreciative of how where it's brought me till today. I do, I provide a pretty decent life for myself. I want more though. I deserve more, and more than that, I'm gonna work for more, work harder, because I want more. It's easy to stay stagnant because it's like in the 9-to-5 culture, they pay you just enough money to keep you wanting to stay, but not enough to really help you thrive in your finances and in your lifestyle. And so that's the reason why I'm gonna quit regardless. And I'll work out the kinks, but it's like the motivation question. Sometimes it's hard to stay motivated when certain things aren't paying off, or your 9-to-5. I'm the type of person, like, if I know my 9-to-5 is there, it's difficult for me I'll quit other stuff because I know I can always fall back, especially being that my 9-to-5, pays all my bills. Anything more is extra. So I really have to get into that entrepreneur's mindset, and I've done a pretty good job since the pandemic of kind of changing. And so where before I had no desire to, now I know that it's nothing for me at a 9-to-5, but nervous I am. It's quite scary. And I'm really, like, when I say I'm working on courage, I'm legitimately taking courses and things on courage so that I can build the strength to continue to fight and be vigilant about creating the kind of life that I want for myself. Any plans to create physical products? I think that is something that I'll play by ear. I loved creating my coloring book last year. The adult one sold out, and I really love that. But I'm not gonna do any coloring books. That was kind of like a thing. Oh, I was really into it. I did it. It was a success. I sold out, and it's like, okay, what's the next kind of thing? Because that's not really something I plan on doing long term. Maybe I'll double back to it later on. I definitely plan to, I'll kind of pull that in with the next question, which is, what are your goals for your channel and for yourself? And so I'll probably come up with a physical product at some point. The mailing and shipping thing can be kind of annoying, going to the post office and dropping off packages and all this kind of stuff. And I don't play about my orders. Like, maximum is a day I'll let go by before I drop a package off. So I don't know. I think the future might hold a physical product, but I have no idea what that product would be. And so it could be, I might. But for my goals for my channel is definitely I'm definitely going to kind of all lives matter my channel. Not in like a bad way. Most of my content will still definitely be for Black women, but it'll be more so tailored to Black women so that I can be an example as a content creator for the place that Black women, to help propel Black women into a place where race takes a back seat, like a yesteryear seat to yourself, your goals for yourself and for your life. And so with that, I want to be an example. And I don't want to keep talking about Black stuff and Black men and the Black community and why we should do that. We already know all of these things. So one of my greatest goals, which I will be implementing very, very soon, is to kind of like lessen the Blackness, take the Blackness out of my channel to some degree. I will probably still address, because sometimes it's difficult to not address certain things, but maybe it'll be a separate space, maybe not. Whatever is convenient for me and whatever my audience want is definitely important. And so I definitely want to get my subscriber count out. What I want for my YouTube is for that to kind of help propel me into other stuff, my other entrepreneur and endeavors. so that I don't plan on being a YouTuber forever. So I want to use YouTube as a stepping stone, as to build an audience and to build a platform for other entrepreneurship ideas or whatever that I decide to do as time coming. Let's see, in the goals for myself, really for myself, I would probably say, my main focus now is losing weight, which I'm doing, of course, and have no choice at this point. My goal for myself is losing weight, building my business, building my channel, being more consistent, and building my channel and building my platform. And so that I can use that as a stepping stone for my entrepreneur journey. That is really my goal for myself. I want to get into, like, I don't know if I want to get into like I am a certified life coach, but I don't know if I want to get into one-on-one coaching. Maybe, but I would probably only have maybe 2 clients or 3 clients if it's one-on-one. But I really want to do some sort of group kind of life coaching, but I'm really working on what exactly do I have to offer that's genuine and authentic, that I can actually bring women and that I can actually help people on. And you know, some people, if you walk a certain life, you walk a certain path in life, you know, and I'm really trying to figure out, because sometimes I just feel like my life is so bland that I don't have much to give to the world. But then at the same time, I'm like, I have so much to give to the world. Like, I have so much to tell people, to help people improve their lives, and just trying to figure out how to put that into a business is really what I see for myself and what I want to do. And it's difficult kind of navigating when you don't really have people in your life to like point you in whatever direction. What do you hope to see for Black women in the future? I really hope that Black women, a good chunk of the majority, I know it might not be the majority, but the majority in my lifetime of Black women putting themselves first, putting their needs first, and being smart with life. Stop having babies out of wedlock. Only because of the circumstances it calls, not because I'm just obsessed with marriage or anything, but only because it's not smart for us to keep doing that, and for us to bring children into the world with a less than life than they deserve, because you couldn't keep your legs closed, and because you couldn't be more methodical about your offspring and who you have it with. And I hope Black women get over this racial hump, get over Black men, so that we can start collectively having better lives for ourselves. To put it briefly, that's what my hopes are for Black women, and for Black women to stop being so obsessed with talking about Black people. Like it's weird. It's getting weird at this point. I don't judge anyone for it, because it's like I was that way at some point, but it's like at some point you have to choose to do better. And the podcast thing, I don't even know, like I'm trying to just stay consistent on YouTube, plus the podcast. I just get ideas and just want to jump forward with it. I may keep the podcast, I'm not sure. Because once I quit my 9-to-5, I feel like I would be able to have those creative juices. Because right now, having a YouTube channel is draining. Trying to figure out when you should, like when you can film, when you can edit, it's all very tedious, especially editing with a small payoff. So, and adding other stuff, that's why I really feel like my 9-to-5 is in the way, because that's like 40 hours a week that I could have to relax, and to where my creative is like stifles my creative juices. Like, are you dating? Yes, I came from a date today, and that's the reason why I'm filming this, because I already had on makeup. See, I have to squeeze in a video when I have on makeup. If I'm out already, unless I just get a burst of energy to put on makeup and start filming. But yeah, I am currently dating on and off. I had a really good date today. And hopefully it goes somewhere. That's like the goal of every date, right? But I don't feel a ways. I don't, you know, I have goals, but my goals for myself is mostly my weight, to get to my goal weight and health, and to make sure that I am creating success and being consistent with my business and my entrepreneurship. That's what my goals are. And really, other things take back seats. A man, children, and all that kind of stuff kind of take a back seat. But I am dating. Yes, the short answer is yes, I am dating. Liz asks, are you at all concerned about your relation with food having to change with my BSG? So yes, it's a very, like, the pain and levels and that kind of stuff. The recovery was not very difficult for the surgery, but it's my relationship with food, the amount of food that I can and can't eat. Like, my mind, I describe it to people as, you know, my body is full, my stomach is full, but my mind is not satisfied with the amount of food I put on my fork, with the amount of food I know I ate. My mind isn't satisfied. So it does change your relationship with food, because now you physically cannot enjoy food the way you used to. Like, the feeling, that satisfying feeling of fullness, when you get the itis and you keel over, I don't experience that anymore. I don't think I will ever experience that feeling anymore, because now when I'm full, it feels like the food is like stuck, especially if I overeat. Not when I'm full, but if I overeat. And so the relationship with me and food and my ability to not overeat with such a small stomach is difficult sometimes. It's not something that I like cry about in any way or anything like that, but it is kind of annoying, because it's like, like, I have one burger, why can't I finish this one burger? And it's like, so it's like really trippy. But it is your relationship with food turns upside down, left side, right, like it turns every which way after surgery. So it is definitely a concern, but that was literally the whole point. Again, I'm a logical person. Obviously, I was irresponsible with my relationship with food. And a funny thing is, I'm a picky eater, but I like what I like, or I would not eat and then overeat when I did eat. So my relationship with food was not a healthy one. So I wasn't responsible with it. So now I'm at a place where, yeah, my mind may want me to have food, but I literally think I'm like, this is the whole point. You couldn't handle it when you had a regular sized stomach, and you would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with your weight, and losing weight and gaining it, and losing weight and gaining it. You were irresponsible with it. Cry me a river. Like, it's like, I don't really stay in that place very long, because it's like, obviously this was the whole point. The point is so that I literally can't overconsume food. And so your relationship does change, and it is something, because if you can't do that, if you want the surgery, but you're really at a place where you're afraid to get it because you want to be able to eat as much as you can, and you will stay unhealthy to do it, to me that's a severe case of addiction, to where, like, if you know something may potentially kill you, but you are so addicted to it you can't do it. That's why I'm like, listen, I don't care how much I want to finish this full burger, even though it's just a plain burger with cheese on it, no bun. Like, I don't care how much I want to finish it. The whole point of this, to lose weight, is so that you won't be able to finish it, so that you won't be able to overconsume. And that's the smart thing. It's not smart to continue to do the same things hoping for a different result. So yeah, but it is something that you need to be aware of, because if you do have a severe addiction or eating disorder, you may want to seek therapy to work on it before surgery, because you could kill yourself. Worst case scenario, you can really do a lot of damage to yourself if you're addicted so badly that you literally can't stop yourself from eating when your stomach is the size of a banana, and you will send yourself to the emergency room. You may eat, it may turn fatal. So go to therapy. If you really think that it's a big problem for you, or it'll be a big problem for you, or if you have a diagnosed eating disorder, or like a binge eater or something like that, then you may want to go to therapy for an extended period of time before getting the surgery, especially if your insurance was like mine and I was able to just do the classes needed, take the tests and stuff, and then go ahead and get it. Wasn't a waiting period, because it came quickly. So you have to be mentally prepared, because after surgery, you physically cannot eat the amount of food that you want to eat, but the desire is still there, especially after a while. That desire, I wasn't hungry for maybe 2 weeks. Now I'm 2 months. What is today? Like literally, is today is the 18th. Tomorrow will be exactly 2 months. So exactly 2 months. And like when I get hungry now, it's ravenous. It's way more. It's worse than before. It's not painful, but it's painful. Like it's hunger pangs. It's annoying, and I'm like, I need to go eat something. Even then, I can only eat a couple spoonfuls and I'm full, but it's different. Like before, I was intermittent fasting. I could go all day. I can go another. Now, no, my hunger is aggressive. And that is another reason that makes me, it's probably because of the surgery, but it makes me very happy with my decision to go ahead and get the surgery. And I think that was it. That was pretty much it. The other video, the younger girl asked me to do, I'll do a whole video on that, because she basically wanted me to talk about to young black girls. So that was pretty much it. So thank you all for asking the questions. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you will know when I upload a video, if you're interested in that. No peer pressure, no pressure. Put some comments down in the comment section should you feel so compelled. I love you all so much, and I will see you in the next video.